Ohio State, our national champions from 2024. Can they repeat?
Well, they've got a huge task in week 1, right? They play Texas to open the season. It's a rematch of the semifinals from last year. And so right then, I think we'll get a good idea of what kind of team they have. They've returned arguably the 2 best players in the country between Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith, but they're unsettled at quarterback. So they've definitely got a few questions on their team, but they're Ohio State. They've recruited well. They obviously portal well. So I don't know. Their schedule sets up pretty nice. They don't play Oregon in the regular season this year. Like I said, they do open with Texas, and they've got Penn State. And then, of course, the end of the season, Michigan looms very large with them having 4 straight losses to Michigan. It's kind of a put up or shut up season for them. They've won the national championship now. They got to get over that Michigan hump.
Yeah. I mean, was it 4 years in a row losing to Michigan? And last year was just crazy that they lost that game. But they do, like you said, have arguably the 2 best players in college football. I mean, Jeremiah Smith's going to be my pick to win the Heisman. He's probably going to be a lot of people's pick to win the Heisman. And then, of course, Caleb Downs. But the thing is, there's only 3 starters that are back on defense. So they got a lot of gaps to fill. And even though they have a lot of gaps to fill, it is still Ohio State. They're still going to reload. They still have one of the highest blue chip ratios in all of college football. I think they were number 1 last year. Texas was number 2. The Bud Elliott's blue chip ratio is going to come out probably this week, next week, if history, says it will.
Yeah.
But biggest question mark is really quarterback. So is it Julian Sayin?
Yeah.
Going to come in? Is he going to be able to be the guy? And obviously it helps when you have someone like Jeremiah Smith, when you can just be like, oh, he's down there somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Ohio State certainly has a lot of top talent on their team. And like I said, the schedule does set up nicely. The Big Ten schedule really comes down to Penn State and Michigan. You get past one of those 2 teams, even if you lose a game to Texas in this 12-team playoff format, you're right back in the playoffs. So does Ohio State repeat as a national championship team? Sitting here today, I think my answer is no, because of the unsettled things at quarterback and because so much can happen. We saw before when it was a 4-team playoff how difficult it was to repeat. Now, with the added chance of at least 1 and potentially 2 rounds of playoffs, you never know what kind of injury could scoop up. Just look at, what happened with Georgia with Carson Beck getting hurt. If I'm sitting here today, I'm saying no. What do you think, bro?
I think it's going to be extremely tough. Michigan is going to be a lot better than they were last year. I mean, the way they finished the season last year was super strong. And if, that freshman coming in at quarterback can provide an actual passing attack, that was the only piece that was missing for Michigan last year.
Yeah,
it really was. I kept saying it all year. If they had a passing game, they would be super scary.
And player to watch for at Michigan is Justice Haynes, son of Veron Haynes.
Oh, that's right.
Former Alabama running back. Didn't really ever materialize very much at Alabama, though played fairly well when he got to play some. He transferred to Michigan. And so you put him back there and give him a chance to get some good carries. Like you said, with Underwood, if he develops back there at quarterback, could be a good Michigan offense this year. So,
yeah. And then you throw in Penn State is going to be right there with them. They're recruiting like crazy, and Drew Aller's coming back, and there's nothing more important than having an experienced quarterback, in the mix there. And Oregon's just going to keep getting better. They have questions at quarterback, because they're replacing someone. But I mean, they seem to be fine with doing that every year.
Right.
And just looking at college football as a whole, I feel like there are a lot more like top tier teams right now going into the season than we would have been talking about last year going into last season. Because I think about teams like Notre Dame, they're going to be up there. I mean, their recruiting is off the charts right now too.
I think a part of that, though, is the expanded playoff as well, because when you go to look at preseason and everything, you start thinking about who can make the playoffs, and with a lot more opportunities, you overall look, oh, well, this team may have a super hard schedule, but if you lose one game, it's not the end of the world like it used to be. So I think the expanded playoff has made us see that there are more teams capable of winning the national championship than in the past.
Yep. Absolutely.